This is a notice from the Department of Solar Activity Monitoring. The sun gained consciousness at 6:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday morning. NASA satellites detected unusual sunspot activity forming geometric patterns across the solar surface. Radio telescopes confirmed structured signals broadcasting toward Earth at regular intervals. Scientists cannot explain how stellar activity would develop organized communication patterns. The signals appear intentional rather than random solar phenomena. Radio equipment throughout your area picks up brief transmissions during peak daylight hours. The signals last only seconds and sound like distant voices speaking in an unknown language. Ham radio operators report identical transmissions occurring simultaneously across different frequencies. The voices speak in rhythm with observed solar flare activity. Technical analysis cannot identify the signal source or explain how solar radiation produces voice-like audio patterns. Children in your neighborhood mention hearing someone calling their names from outside during afternoon hours. The voices appear to come from sunny areas of yards where no people are visible. Kids describe the voices as friendly and familiar, similar to family members or teachers. Parents find no one outside when they investigate these reports. The incidents occur only during direct sunlight exposure between noon and 3 p.m. Local radio stations experience interference during midday broadcasts that creates gaps in programming. The dead air periods last exactly 17 seconds and occur at the same time each day. Station engineers cannot locate equipment malfunctions that would cause the consistent timing pattern. During these silent periods, sensitive audio equipment detects faint speaking sounds too quiet for normal broadcast transmission. Elementary schools report increased incidence of children staring directly at the sun despite safety education about eye protection. Teachers intervene to prevent eye damage but note that affected students appear unaware of their actions. The children claim they saw someone waving at them from the bright light. School nurses examine the students and find no vision problems or lasting effects from brief sun exposure. Weather monitoring stations detect that cloud formations dissipate more quickly in specific geographic areas during daylight hours. Clear skies develop in patterns that correspond to locations where radio interference has been reported. Meteorologists find no atmospheric conditions that would explain the localized weather changes. The cleared areas maintain direct solar exposure throughout peak daylight hours regardless of regional weather patterns. Electronics malfunction briefly when exposed to direct sunlight at exactly 12:30 p.m. each day. Digital displays flicker and show incorrect information for several seconds before returning to normal operation. The malfunctions affect devices across different manufacturers and age ranges. Technical support departments receive increased calls about midday equipment failures but cannot replicate the problems in laboratory conditions. Animal behavior changes during peak sunlight hours as dogs and cats seek shelter indoors rather than enjoying sunny outdoor areas. Pets display anxiety symptoms and refuse to enter yards during afternoon hours. Veterinarians report no medical causes for the behavioral shifts. Animal control officers note that stray animals also avoid open areas during peak daylight periods, congregating in shaded urban zones instead. Security cameras throughout residential areas experience temporary signal loss during the same 17-second periods when radio stations go silent. The cameras resume normal recording immediately after the interference ends. Video footage shows no unusual activity during the missing time segments. Surveillance equipment from different manufacturers fails simultaneously despite operating on separate power and communication systems. Sleep patterns in your community shift as people report vivid dreams about receiving messages from bright lights. Dream content involves instructions to go outside during specific daytime hours. Individuals wake feeling compelled to spend time in direct sunlight despite having no conscious memory of dream details. Sleep study centers note increased enrollment from residents requesting analysis of unusual dream activity. Local emergency services receive calls about people found standing motionless in sunny areas with no memory of how they arrived at those locations. The affected individuals appear unharmed but cannot explain gaps in their daily schedules. Medical evaluations reveal no signs of confusion or disorientation beyond the missing time periods. These incidents occur only in areas that experience radio interference and electronic malfunctions. Children begin drawing pictures of a large bright circle with simple facial features during art classes. The artwork appears across different schools without teacher instruction or student collaboration. Kids describe the drawings as pictures of their friend who lives in the sky. Child psychologists note the consistency of imagery but find no concerning psychological indicators in the young artists. Research facilities monitoring solar activity detect that the structured signals from the sun increase in frequency and complexity each day. Pattern analysis suggests the signals follow learning progression similar to language acquisition. Communication content evolves from simple repeated sounds to varied vocal patterns that resemble conversational speech. Scientists debate whether natural phenomena could generate communication-like signals or if other explanations require consideration. Government space agencies establish emergency protocols for potential first contact scenarios while maintaining public safety messaging about normal solar activity. International cooperation increases for monitoring programs designed to analyze stellar communication patterns. Officials emphasize that current observations pose no immediate threat but warrant continued scientific investigation and public awareness. Astronomical observation reveals that the sun's surface patterns spell out simple words in multiple human languages when viewed through specialized solar imaging equipment. The words appear briefly during peak activity periods before dissolving back into normal solar phenomena. International space monitoring confirms identical observations from different geographic locations. The messages contain basic greetings and questions about human civilization. Medical facilities document cases of individuals experiencing temporary amnesia during peak daylight hours. Patients report feeling drawn to sunny outdoor areas but lose consciousness briefly while exposed to direct sunlight. Upon awakening, they describe conversations with a benevolent presence that provided guidance about human potential and solar energy benefits. Brain scans show unusual activity in language processing areas during these episodes. Educational institutions report that students demonstrate improved learning capacity and problem-solving skills following exposure to natural sunlight during specific hours. Academic performance increases correlate with time spent in direct solar exposure rather than general outdoor activity. Cognitive enhancement appears temporary but consistent across different age groups and subjects. Researchers investigate potential connections between solar radiation and neurological function. This message updates citizens about ongoing solar communication research and safety recommendations. Avoid prolonged direct sun exposure during peak activity periods while maintaining normal outdoor activities. Report unusual experiences or missing time incidents to local authorities for documentation. Solar observation programs continue monitoring communication attempts from our star. Regular updates will be provided as research progresses and communication patterns develop further clarity. International protocols are being established for potential formal diplomatic contact with solar intelligence. Scientists work to develop appropriate response methods for continued communication. Citizens should remain calm and follow standard safety procedures while supporting scientific efforts to understand this unprecedented situation. The solar intelligence appears benevolent but requires careful study to ensure public safety during ongoing contact attempts. This transmission concludes current updates on solar communication developments. However, radio monitoring stations have detected that the solar signals now include specific residential addresses being broadcast in the unknown language. The addresses correspond to homes where missing time incidents have been reported. Technical analysis confirms that your home address was transmitted from the sun at 2:47 p.m. today during the 17-second interference period. Solar observation equipment shows the sun's surface patterns have formed symbols that match the layout of your specific neighborhood when viewed through specialized imaging. Your house appears as a bright spot that pulses with increased solar activity. The pulsing began exactly when you started reading this message. Step outside and look up. Something in the sun is watching your house right now. Weather monitoring stations report that a beam of concentrated sunlight is currently focused on your exact location. The beam measures 3 degrees warmer than surrounding areas and will remain positioned over your property until sunset. Residents in nearby houses cannot see the concentrated light, but infrared cameras confirm its presence directly above your address. The solar intelligence has identified you as a priority contact candidate. Do not go outside alone.